Welcome everyone. Should wait for a few people to start joining before we discuss the plan of attack for the session. How's everyone doing? We have the treasuries up for a change. We've had quite a good, pretty simple and straightforward session in treasuries, to be honest. Hey Satan, how's it going, buddy? I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Really glad it's Friday. Really glad. It's been a long week, man. It's been a long week. No, but you, how's your day been? Have you been trading at all? Had an okay session on ZN today, 22 tickaroos, which was nice. Mm-mm. So, which is good. So we're waiting to see. I mean, if this was at normal times, there's essentially a gap in the profile here. So if we do crack this, we should see a little mini sweep. But we've been down here now at least 3 times, and it is pretty late in the session, so I can't really see too much happening. Hey Avi, how's it going? Oh, you're trading commodities only for this month. Which ones you going? You going for just oil and gold? Tons of buying just come in there. These markets are super correlated. It's really nice to to watch the DOM and see because there's so much liquidity at each price. For example, you see the 700, 1700 here has been pulled, but it's still 6k. You can see relatively even here, but we've seen a lot of buying coming in. And I'll clear this. I'll clear the pricing on here. Um, but essentially, the 10-year has been in this range now. I think for about an hour, maybe longer. It's been between 27s and 25s, and again, it's all been sort of um, into a little bit of a gap in the profile. So, but it's pretty late in the day. This would be a nice trade if it was like an hour after bond open or something. Oh, silver and gold. I've never traded silver before. I've traded oil and gold. Hard markets. Good markets if you're on the right side of them. They tend to be a lot more fluid than like, in ES and NQ and stuff. Oh, certainly ES anyway. Yeah, I'm super glad. Tired. Tired. It's been a good week though. It's been a good week. I like it when we have days like this. I'd made money at open, just a little bit in pre-market, and then I took a break, and then we essentially broke the high on news around about, I think it was at 2 o'clock, and then we just consolidated around here. I took a fade here for about 2 or 3 ticks, and I think prior to that we took a long up, so that was pretty much be done for the day. So which is good. So I'll wait till everyone else joins. I just thought it would be a bit different to do some treasuries today. A lot of people have been asking about them as of late, and you can see from how we're watching it right now, it is just a completely different market. You know, like, I can't stress that enough. It's so different. These are so correlated, these markets, and you really need to pay attention as to what's going on. And the 10-year specifically, so because we've got the short, medium, and long end of the curve going on at the moment. This is the fives, this is the tens, and this is the 30-year bond. One occasion I'll maybe pop in the ultra, but just for some correlation. But they tend to be super correlated, or at most you may see some spread trading happening. But the 10-year is really good in a way because if you get in a bad spot, you can normally get it for scratch pretty easy. Like if you get down 2 ticks, you'll normally be able to get it for a tick or scratch. So which is pretty handy. And then we have the time of sales up for this, um, which we clear quite a bit. We're just looking to see the large size that comes in. We have it filtered for minimum of 20. But you can see there's 442 here executed, 100 executed, and this is do not combine data. So this is orders you're seeing in one clip. You look at the amount of size. So a completely different market, of course, to ES. You know, you're seeing there's over 1,500 contracts executed, and then the selling come in, and then the price is not moved. You know, just all of the size that comes in. So you can see that the 5 years then just hit into the bid, and then we've ticked up. So there's nothing's going to really happen here. Uh, to be honest with you, we're just going to sort of probably fill out this range, considering we're at POC on the 10-year. We may go back up into here for the 30s, but I can't really see us sweeping this level, considering there's no real news coming out. Yeah, so pretty much this is to do with the yield curve and the actual treasury departments and treasury yields. So people basically, if the government wants to lend money, it's typically always done through bond auctions, and then people, including individuals, institutions, get to essentially either purchase them. It's typically what moves the yields in bonds. But obviously, this is what banks will use to hedge against, inflation. They'll use it to hedge against their mortgage risk. They'll use it to really hedge against any of the real APR debt on their books. And the reason why I typically like it is just because it's, you know, it's not, there's no, it's just a much slower market, you know? It's super slow. I mean, I typically trade like five contracts on the 10-year, and you know, it's three ticks when the tick to commission ratio is really good. You're like 15.65 bucks on the 10-year. Well, the ZB is 31. We'll just round it here. 31 bucks on the 30-year bond, 15 and a half on the 10-year, and then half of that on the 5. So the ticks are a lot more, and it doesn't move as much. So you don't need 20, 30 ticks a day. You're really only needing 3 or 4 ticks with some size, to be honest. And it moves completely different. So, but I think we'll probably switch soon because you can see the market doesn't move. You know, especially at these times, you need to be trading this in the first couple of hours of when the bond market opens, or fixed income. Because look at the amount of contracts that are traded. We've just been in this range now for hours in here, same here. And I drew these lines just to see if we broke above the high and the low of it. Because if we broke to the low, we could have a little sweep. I just can't see that happening at this time. there's a couple hours to close. So, do you guys ever trade these products? Kind of jokingly, they're like the old man product. Jeez, oh, 8,000 contracts into the offer here. That's crazy. They're really loving this price. There's 121,000 contracts when they executed it at 26 and a half. Hey, nice of you to join us, buddy. Mr. Formula. I don't think there's not really any other market that you're going to see, 10k contracts executed and the market not move. I don't think there's any other contract you're ever going to see that. Certainly not an NQ anyway. Good question. So I prefer Sierra for charting, and I've been with Sierra for many years. I would say that Jigsaw has a couple of nice features for the DOM specifically. Small things like, um, so I've had to adjust the DOM. So say for example I go to put an order on here, right? For example, this takes up the DOM a little bit. So I've had to adjust this. I need to put this in my recent video that I'm going to do. You can adjust these so that it doesn't show the same. So it's not taking up so much room. Whereas Jigsaw takes up like a big sort of square like this, right? And then I know there's an order at the side, so it doesn't take up the volume profile. That's one of the features. And then they have a text column, you know. So my sort of text column I use at the moment as a workaround is just lines, which I have done is I click on the chart and I have Shift Q, and then I can just put on a marker. I normally do that just to set the mini range, and I'll do it if I see like a large order coming in. It's typically what I do, mate. But um, no, I just like Sierra. To be honest with you, I've used it for many years. I've got the full package there. Um, yeah, and I've just spent. It's like anything, you get used to the platform and used to everything on it. To be honest with you. So obviously the time and sales is it's a bit rubbish. The time and sales on Jigsaw is a bit better on Day Trader. Ah, right. So do you mean um the journaling side of things that they have? So I use TraderSync. There's a link to it in the description, and I pay for a package on there where it tells me um the max favorable excursion and the max, basically your adverse and favorable side. MFE and MAE, I think, off the top of my head. Max adverse excursion and max favorable excursion. That's the one. So yeah, so I use them for just to see how I'm if I'm on point with the market. To be honest with you, because in treasuries, to be honest, when you're trading a 10 year, my hard stop is 5 ticks. I never take five. I'll normally, if the market gets to like three and it's looking super weak, I'll just cut it, and then I go for something between, depending on how the move is. If it's aggressively taking each price, I'll just trail it, and I'm looking to take something like 3 or 4 ticks on treasuries. ES and ES is a different story, which we'll jump into later. I just wanted to do a little sort of different segment today, rather than always being the same. Yeah. Yeah, you can filter the tape, buddy. So to do that, you can filter it quite well. So if I go into this and go to settings, I've got this set to do not combine data. And very simply, the reason being is I want to see the orders in one clip. I don't want to see them aggregated at price. And then I have, because it's the 10 year, I have a minimum of 25. I don't really need to see anyone that's trading less than 25, which is practically retail, because retailers are so insignificant in this market. It's not even real. And I don't care about the time that it was done. I just, because I'm looking at it in the now, I just care about the price that it was carried out and the volume. And then I have a colouring side of things where I like it to highlight if it's above 100 lots. So yeah, so you can see, there's this is 100 contracts executing one clip. Here's 267 executing one clip. You know, and everything else in between it. So you can filter that. And by the tape, you're meaning time and sales, right? So you can do that. You can have multiple time and sales. So typically, I just have setups where I have a tape with just no filtering at all and do not combine, which tells me the speed of the tape. And then I have one filtered for ES for something like above 25 contracts. But you can see all of that in the DOM, but sometimes it's nice if you're not paying attention and you can have a quick glance, you can see, holy smokes, there was, tons executed, right? So yeah, it's good for that. You can have, I typically have a non-filtered one and a filtered one if I'm just trading ES. If you're into time and sales and tape reading like ES and stuff, it's and you use Jigsaw, you should probably go with that. Uh, what's it called? Sound. Is it Price Squawk? Price Squawk, I think it's called. So I've been trading for 9 years. And this year will be my 10th year. And I've been all round the market, man. Traded FX, CFDs, been futures now for many years as well. The futures is probably the most level playing field one. Yeah, yeah, I've been doing it for enough, man. So it's trading. To be honest, I need to address one of the chaps that come in the Discord, and he hit the nail on the head. Where a lot of the stuff you see on YouTube, um, dudes are showing you like an indicator, and when it hits this line or whatever, or you see this little random candlestick pattern or something, it's a signal to get in. If it was that easy, we would all be on yachts in Monaco, driving around. Do you know what I mean? This is not as simple as that. This is probably, it's a really hard way to make an easy living. This job, um, you can set your own hours, and it gives you good flexibility. But it typically takes you years to do that. Years to work out, you know, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, what type of trading do you suck at? Are you better at mean reverting? You know, all those types of things, right? Been profitable for oh, about 5 years or so now. And you have good years and bad years, man. Of course. And the main thing as well is to have other revenue streams. You know, because trading is probably the least secure job, right? Because it's this is the hard. This is why so many people fail at this. Is because they get a strategy and they say, right, I should be able to go in and take like 400 or 500 bucks a day out of the market, for example, right? And then you do that each day of the week, and then you've made the guts of 10 grand a month. Great salary, probably for a lot of people in certain places in the world. They'd be living like a king. But sadly, trading doesn't work like that. You'll some years where you lose money. You just need to be able to handle those drawdowns, and you really need to journal more. You know, if you've never checked the dude out, I'd advise you guys to check out Tom Dante. I know he was quite big a number of years ago. He's like a hidden gem. That guy's posted stuff many years ago, uh, and just a good source of truth, right? So I advise you check out his sort of cheat sheets and lists. I'll probably do something similar to what he's going to do because sadly, if you came to the YouTube channel where you're expecting super positivity about trading, it's not really going to be here. Like that, I'm really extremely realistic. If you're starting new at this and you've not watched a couple of the videos I've put out, which is what you need to be profitable day trading and what markets you should be trading, you should probably check them out. The reason being is certain markets, they're like women, right? Or men if you're a woman, or whatever you're into these days. Jeez, oh, whatever you're into, everyone has their own personality. Everyone is different. Same as markets, right? Some are wild, some are calm. You know, some cost more, some cost less. You know, some behave more different to other ones. Some are aggressively sweeping levels, some are not. Some are more trending than others. And really, you need to probably spend the time finding out which markets is better suited to your risk tolerance and your style of trading. You know, and then of course there's the general risk factor that comes in to everything, right? You're trading BTC and ES. Nice. So crypto is good. I like crypto. Wouldn't say I would day trade it, but great buy and hold. Made a lot of money in over since 2017 with crypto, but I wouldn't really day trade crypto. But that's just me personally. But let me know when you guys want to switch to ES and NQ, Russell and Dow, a normal deck, because obviously we'll probably fall asleep looking at this. The 10 year has been in this exact price now for since we've started since we started the stream. So but it's a good market to understand order flow, right? And a lot of people have been asking about it, so I thought we would cover it a bit in the live stream. And because why I've been harping on about the 10 year is, if you get in this trade, for example, and you do go offside, you can easily scratch. It doesn't just blast 5 ticks against you. You know, it may if news is coming out, but it's your fault then if you're not knowing what the economic calendar's like. Only interested in NQ and ES. Okay, mid-type market, not fast, not slow. Yeah, okay, we'll switch guys because I'm aware that this is like watching paint dry. Okay, so give me a second here. We will open up our standard deck, ladders, and then let me close this. Sorry. Mm, mm, mm. Just because it. Here we are. ES doing ES things. Whoa. Wow, what a day for some serious sweep action back into the range. ES does that. Probably Nearly every day does ES do that behavior. It's crazy. And what's interesting with the amount of positive delta that we'd seen yesterday, is just to clean these lines up. Because from the stream, yesterday, just going to zoom out here. We then plummeted, this is it, it's down here, and then we pulled back into the range and we've just chopped around this area. And then let's see, we went bid. I'm screwing up my charts here. In fact, you know what to do, let's make it bigger so we can run through it. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is I have some support and resistance lines drawn in with these. This is what you see here. I then have the regular trading hours and the evening session. So this is the evening session, this is the regular trading hours. I then have initial balance, low, highs, previous. Sorry, my mic just died. We have the previous day open, so we just marked the key inflection points, right? So we didn't even breach previous day high, and then now we've just sold off. But really wacky day, because this came out at 1:30, right, when all the news happened. Well, 8:30 AM US, and then we've just essentially sold right off. And now we're going back up to retest. So it'll be interesting to see the key inflection point now is are we going to go and reclaim this area, or are we going to continually sell off right now? That's pretty much what we're looking to do, right? And we can see that delta has been rising, but they cannot seem to crack. So let's clear up the DOMs. And market profile is also out of value down here as well. This is the monthly profile. The white is in value, red is not. So it looks like we're wanting to go and reclaim at the moment. So you wanted to answer, do you have any suggestions on which tickers to trade on summer when volume flow are super dead? Well, it depends, man. So if you're trading ES and BTC, the markets are going to be slower in general. So if you want to go to one that's slightly more volatile or go to a commodity, then by all means. But when you've got silver and the VIX this low anyway, you're not going to have a huge lot of volatility, right? Or you should maybe go to a product that you don't need to. You can maybe get away with more size in, so you don't really need to go for as big a gain as such. Like you're not needing 15 ticks in treasuries or whatever. So we'll see if we can crack this, if we can reclaim the point of control for the evening session and go back into the range, or because this is the first time we've really broke and had a consistent retest at this breakout level. So we'll see how they react. Yeah, I thought it's good to switch across to a normal setup. What's interesting though is the Dow is at the high of the session. It's weird. It's doing its own thing today, clearly. So the fact that the Dow is basically just about to rip highs, you would think that we would potentially take up an ES. So we'll see. Because these markets are typically correlated, right? The Dow sometimes does its own thing, but not a lot. Sometimes it can give you an idea as to what's happening. So yes, you need to try and see if they can clear these orders here. Let's see, they're hitting them with some size. Yeah, they're just drilling into these prices here, aren't they? Look at that. See, this is the trouble with ES in general. You know, it goes up there, you're thinking this is going to go, and then it instantly just pulls and goes back down 5 ticks. Super difficult. There's just, you know, hard market to trade. So we ultimately needed to try and crack here. And I think if we do get back down to these levels, then the long is no longer on, to be honest, if we get back to 29.5s. Look at the amount of buying here, right? Because this should have went. So if NQ can go, and the fact that Dow is just sitting at the highs, we should see this try at least attempt to crack again. Here we go, NQ's going. It's also back at POC, mind you. There we go. It's just taking that out in a nice little stop run there. That's a perfect little stop run. We saw the sweep there in price. That's basically all of the shorts there just getting liquidated. You can see it in the DOM if you want to rewind it. You'll see just above that when we've hit that little mini high, the little stop run. So now are they going to sweep that and take it back down, or are we going to continue because we've just absorbed, you know, about 1,000 contracts here. But let me know if you guys have got any questions. If you've not yet liked the stream, hit the like button for me. I can see there's 12 of you in here, and not everyone is liked, so I'd appreciate if you can hit the like button for me. And also let me know if you've taken any trades today. So what's everyone's prediction? Do you think we're going to go and reclaim here? NQ is letting the side down. If NQ can go bid, we should see this go up that little bit more, but we are seeing ES trading out here. Formula, what is the bid and offer size on BTC? Do you know? Do you watch the depth of market? How thick is the book? I should probably bring it up. We should have a look at it. Yeah, so if I'm trading this, I will use Tick Strike, and I have up the big six. So I have Google, Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, and Meta is the six that I have up. And then I have, of course, I did for a time have up the market internals like the advanced decline line and the tick, but I mean the big six make up like 26% of the market cap, so pretty important to watch them, and they'll typically, if size comes in there one way or the other, they'll typically be what takes ES and NQ to like a stop position, and it'll quickly flip. Ah, okay. So you're not trading the futures contract then, are you? How is that to trade like that? It'd be interesting to see what order flow happens when there's the extremely crazy dumps. And also as well, it makes me a little bit skeptical on it because BTC is not centralized. You know what I mean? It's not like futures where right now we are seeing the same depth of market. Everyone that's got ES up and has the correct settings for the depth of market is seeing the same. You know, with with cryptocurrency. Not that I'm hating on cryptocurrency at all. I like crypto for a specific purpose, but it's kind of like forex or FX and CFDs. It's not a centralized market, so the prices are slightly different with every exchange, and every exchange will have its own individual bid and offer, right? So how do you know how accurate that is? Or are you just watching like Bybit or how did he do that? Did he just aggregate all of it together? I mean, I just don't know how reliable that's going to be. Oh, really? I've never traded BTC futures. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm meaning. So the fact that BTC, it'll be on, Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, as an example, like they'll all have a different order book and different flow coming in, so it's not centralized. So, in my opinion, how are you meant to then know what the order flow is like? Because it might be completely different, or unless there's some sort of technology out there that can aggregate that. But then, how accurate is that going to be, right? I think trading is hard enough, without throwing in those extra variables. You know what I mean? Oh, is it? I've never looked at it. I've never seen crypto as a day trading asset personally. It's always just been the one where you put money in and you just leave it. Don't use any leverage. Just put money into it and you just leave it. I've done that with altcoins, and I mean, here's the thing, realistically, right? With that strategy, guys, if you bought in 2016, if you literally picked any coin in the top 100 in coin market cap and put money into it in 2016, 17, you would have made money. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do that. You know, day trading, different story, and you would need to have balls of steel to basically go into Binance and trade crypto with leverage. I don't really understand that either, if I'm honest. Not that I'm against leverage or anything, because there's tons of leverage in futures, but I just prefer the concept of a centralized market, right? It's a fairer playing field. What's the commission and tick for BTC? Like, what's the price per tick? Is it like 50 pence or something, or a buck, or what is it? And also, what's the commission like as well? Yeah, I wonder what the volume is like. In fact, I'm actually just gonna bring this up. It's curiosity. The curiosity's killing me. 40k full contract. Right, what's the ticker? Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. I'll replace it for. I don't know. Let's place it for the Russell for the time being. So what's the ticker and what's the? Let me just. Uh, is it in CME? We don't want the micro Bitcoin. Or is that all it is? Is it MBT? That'll probably have moved now to June, of course. Is this it? Is this the micro? Is it not? Is it not a non-micro? Or is it just the? I think it's going to be the. We don't want. You don't want to trade. I don't want to look at the micro though. Let's see. BTC. Ah, here it's here. BTC. Got it. Right. We must have moved to June. Here we are. Okay. Oh God, is this how thin it is? Oh God. Oh, it's depressing. I mean, this is grim, guys. This is grim. Oh, man, this is so thin. Look at this book. Look at the volume profile. There's nothing there. You just sneezed and we could move this market. Right, there is just no danger. There is no danger any institutions are trading this, right? No chance. Is this the right contract? Can't be this thin. It can't be. Look at the spread. Can't be. This has to be the wrong contract. Has to be. Um, let's go to May. Let's see. Well, and it's not. You have to roll it over. Wow. Fucking hell. That is grim. That's grim. Yeah, look at the spreads. What is this, man? I mean, look at this is crazy. Okay, I mean this is not a thing, right? Seriously. I mean, look at this isn't. I've never. How illiquid is this market? Is this one of the least trade? Is this the least traded product in the whole of CME's book? Has to be. I mean, there's probably the guts of 1,000. I mean, a bit more than that. A couple of thousand contracts a day, maybe. Jeez, oh. I'm just scrolling up to see where the high is. Wow. I mean, the market is trading through 4 prices, and there's not even there's nothing. There's no volume. I mean, surely this. I don't know. This, geez, oh man. I've seen some people in chat saying that they trade this. I thought it was better than this. This is the first time I've ever checked out this futures contract. I certainly won't be checking out again. I mean, the only thing that's appealing about this is you could potentially, if you had enough money, you could smash around this order book here. That's the only thing that's appealing. But then, as you said, the margin's pretty huge on it, so you need quite a lot down to even trade a full contract, right? What are you saying, Mr. Professor? Whipsaws on on markdown should be shorted. So what do you mean on markdown? Right, let's get the Russell back up. This MTC BTC things hurt my eyes. Um, mm, mm, mm. There we go. Yeah, I don't know, man. I would rather trade something that has at least got a decent. Clearly, with that book there, right? There's the only thing that's interesting about about that contract or that book, right, is the fact that it doesn't really look like there's any. Well, not I would say any. I don't know if there's the presence of HFTs in that. I don't know who's trading that. It would be interesting to see the volume per day and the participants that are trading that. What would be interesting is to check out the COTS report and to see if any institutions are trading that. To be honest, because that contract, surely to goodness, there is bound to be a syndicate got together and potentially moving that market together, right? Surely, because it's really a liquid. Okay, T-ball. Explain a wee second. The backside of the Wyckoff top is the markdown phase and the 1 day time phase. Ah, right, okay, I'm with you. I need to get back to your other message that you left. I'll get back to that after stream, buddy. But I saw you said something about Wyckoff, and we wanted to run over the order flow and daily and just mark some things off. So we'll definitely do that. Yeah, so T-ball, can we explain the charts for NQ and ES? Sure. Okay, so if you guys are new to order flow, we'll cover what you're seeing. Okay, so we'll cover what's on the left. This is delta. Okay, I don't have this up for ES just because it's not as thick as so I don't have this up for NQs. It's not as thick as ES. So this is delta. Delta measures the difference between aggressive buyers and aggressive sellers. And what the aggressive part means is market orders, because you have two types of participants in the market. You have passive, right? And passive orders are dudes that are waiting at these prices to buy and waiting at these prices to sell, right? And these constantly change. If there was no presence of market orders, the market would not move, literally. So you have passive orders that are then waiting to get filled at a certain price on limits, and then the market orders are the ones that ultimately move price. And obviously, you guys understand that if you're not taking, if there's no market orders to move the market, then the market never moves. It would just sit at this price, you know. So what we have in here is the volume profile. The yellow is the point of control, which signifies the point or the specific price where the most volume is traded for that day. And all the numbers are the numbers in total contracts that aggregate at that price. So you can see that there's 70 traded here. As more contracts get executed, these continually add up, right? I can clear these at any time. So you can see right now that someone hit 12 into the 31 and 3 quarters, it slipped down, and now they're continually hitting in. They're absorbing now. They've just pulled orders here. So NQ is also going down. So let's see if we can break through. And we're right now back to POC. So typically the market never really cracks through POC without a little bit of hesitation, just because it's the most traded price and it's people will be getting orders off. So on this column, this is the combined pooling and stacking. Negative numbers in red means that orders have been pulled from those prices. Okay, up here is orders pulled on the offer or added in the offer, and here is orders added or pulled on the bid, right? And when we refer to a trade carried out on the bid, that is actually selling. And we refer to a trade carried out on the ask, that is buying. So right now you can see that there's some size going into the offer or the ask, which is being absorbed. They're then flashing this. Someone's just put 100 there. The buyers have just took it. They're continually lifting into the offer. We'll see here the buyers having an attempt to try and reclaim the POC. Now this marks delta here I've got on the chart. I'll just scroll along a little bit. You can see that buyers are continually being aggressive. So this is now the new low point is this 28.5. So if sellers are to start to be getting aggressive and crack here, we should maybe see some more downside. Okay, in the terms where you're hitting into the bid is sellers are hitting into the passive bid, which is known as selling, and you're lifting into the offer means that buyers are lifting and buying into the offer. Now, T-Ball, does that make sense? How was that explanation? We've also not covered the MBO data. Let me find one. Here it's here. So MBO data essentially tells you at each price where significant size is. And I have mine filtered to 50 lots or contracts in one clip. And what I mean by one clip is one order type, right? So what's interesting is all of these prices here right now, where you see there's hundreds, right? Not one of these contracts are greater than 50. It's just tons of smaller orders aggregated together, which is useful to know because if buyers start to come in and get aggressive, these will likely be pulled. Are you with me so far? So you can see that down here there's a 50. Now someone that's got money to sit and lay a 50 lot out here is probably got more money than that behind them. So it's interesting just to know where these are, not saying you're going to trade off them. And we're now getting to this level. We can see NQ is ticking down. The whole market is slightly ticking down. If NQ can break this low, we should probably crack here. But we were in this range. Let me get out my little trusty line. So this right now is where the POC is. This right now is the low. If we get back above here, then buyers are somewhat back in the range. They are trying, and they're trying to engineer some liquidity. Let's see if they take it. It's bounced right off that level, off 28 3/4. So hopefully that makes sense, T-Ball. So how do you get access to the DOM data? Okay, good question. You need to have minimum of level 2, and you need to have MBO data as well. And you need to have a good depth of market. So your standard depth of market, you probably just see a price in the middle with like, I don't know if you've ever seen some people say, oh, I trade off the DOM and they've got like level 1. Level 1 means you've got this price and this price. You don't see any of the resting orders. If I wanted to, I could see all of the resting orders in the book, but I don't because it's not really relevant. I just want to see what the size is, and also because I've got 4 DOMs up, I like to have slightly less for these specific charts, just so it's my DOM's a bit cleaner and it refreshes quicker. So you're going to need to go to either something like, I don't know, Rhythmic or Denali data feed through Sierra and get it set up. We can help you with all this in the Discord if you want some assistance. Yeah, yeah. So, Professor, so pretty much, um, it's just understanding like the why of how markets move in the games that people can play. Or what I mean by people, I just mean the largest firms, right? So the the whole point of this, and screw strategies, we're not talking about drawing boxes. We can run into that in general, right? But me telling you where to look at levels is not really as important as understanding the dynamics of any market what makes the market move, and why does this happen? Why do certain resistance and support levels not hold, or why do they break? And essentially, there's just a connection between every single market, between futures, between options, between the underlying. Okay, and there's a lot of big block trades that are done OTC, or over the counter. And essentially, what that would look like is, say you're a large say you're a large pension fund, as an example, right? And you want to, we won't do it in contracts, we'll just do it in dollars so it's easier to understand, and then we'll flip it into contracts. Now I'm just using these numbers are arbitrary, right? So I'm just using them as an example. So give me 2 secs. Sorry about that. So um, if you were a large fund, okay, and you said, right, I need to get, I don't know, 100 million into the stock market, right? And I mainly want to be purchasing the S&P or ES, right? However, you do not have the skill set, or you do not want to have the risk to execute that order on your own behalf, right? So you would phone a large institution. In this example, we'll use Goldman or Citadel, right? You would phone them and you would say, hey, I've got, 100 million I want to execute in S&P, right, in futures. And what they would do is they would be, and they would say, okay, we want to try and get a price of, I don't know, we'll just use today's POC. We want to try and get a price of, 30 and a quarter or 30 evens, right? What the institution will do is they will basically quote them a markup on that. So they will essentially quote them, for example, I don't know, they'll maybe quote them something like, 20s, right? I'm just using this as an example. So they quote them like a 20 tick difference. Okay. Now, instantly, as soon as that happens, the market can, shit itself and move in that time frame. So instantly, what these institutions will do is they'll take that order, they'll then put it into the desk, and their desk will then they'll decide, are they currently net long themselves? Do they want to hold that inventory, or do they not? And if they don't want to hold it and they just want to take the commission, they need to start buying that if the market is stable, or they need to essentially be hedging the risk and hedging their exposure. Okay? And depending on, we've got no idea if they're net long or net short, or what they're hedging in, or what block trades are done. Actually, believe it or not, the block trades are shown on CME. If you go onto the website, it tells you the block trades and the OTC orders that are done. It's public. I'm just using this as an example, right? But this is how the market will move. And typically the market will dump or go higher or lower, not because there's any real news, but just because these guys need to move size, and they need to try and get in, I don't know, 100 million into the market, right? And they need to do that in a specific way without losing money. Because if you've got 100 million to get into the market, you can't just go, all right, okay, I'll just buy. You can't go market order 50,000 contracts buy, because you would just crash the market. You can't do that. So they need to think, right, whereabouts are people going to be stopped at? Where can I get the most buying? You know, where can I get the most fills for that, for example? So they may say, right, um, if you are essentially selling, right? Just using this as an example, guys. But if you're selling, how do you go to the market? You need to then essentially be buying, right? And the same as well. So what they would do is they would potentially just sell into a specific level where they need ultimately um, to be getting other sides of positions, as an example, where they can get their fills. And this is why you see the market come to a specific level, it will sweep, and then it'll just stop on a dime, because they needed to get those extra 3, 4, 5,000 contracts traded, you know. And this is just an idea for you to put into context, is when you think, why is the market doing this, and what behavior is going on? Because sometimes you think to yourself, well, why is the market dumping right now? There's not really a reason. You know, there's not meant to be a reason, to be honest. People are just doing their business. Does that make sense? So I can see there's quite a lot of questions and I've been ranting. Hope you guys don't mind. So no, I'm not with AMP. I'm with EdgeClear as my broker through Ironbeam. Can I compress NQ? I can combine the ticks, but it makes the volume profile a bit wonky, so I don't bother. But good question. You can combine ticks, and then I would need to combine the market orders as well. It puts it a wee bit wonky. We have addressed that T-ball. So you want to know more about game three? We just discussed that, Professor. Hopefully that makes sense, and that even makes more sense at the 4 hour and daily time frames we see swing points, because that's where a lot of orders are going to be congregated. Okay. Yeah, level two is the depth of market. Level one's top of book. If you're using any form of order flow tools, you need level two, and you're looking at level two. Yep. What I think they do is on SPY in particular, there is a massive short strangle on daily. Then they use the dark pool and retreat to hedge, getting people with options. Exactly, mate. Evening, Craig. Lovely to see you again, buddy. But you're spot on, Professor. That's essentially what they're doing, right? These guys are trading literally 500 billion a day. If you go into Citadel's website, they literally tout the volume that they move every single day. We covered that there. And these guys have got the best quants, more resources, more money, massive entities, right? So for anyone to think that they can simply beat them, you need to be aware of what they're doing. You need to try and if you can, we're here to try and pick up nickels and dimes. These guys need to move extreme size, and the whole point of why we've got these charts up here, these depth of markets, is because we can see where these dudes are getting involved, right? So I'm just going to clear the delta, and if you just have a look at this and see, right? Bearing in mind, guys, we are trading somewhere between, one to five mini contracts on ES. Now look at this. They're aggressively hitting into the offer right now. Someone is absorbing here, right? They've just cracked it, and they're continually now going. Someone is then absorbed the guts of 1,000 contracts here, and then the market just took a stop. So now we're now back, and we've reclaimed this. And at the same time, NQ is doing the same. These markets are super correlated. Okay, so now the short is no longer on. We're now going to be back in this range. Interesting. So the market has done a huge. Let me just make this a bit smaller. Market's done a huge stop run, picked up some orders back into the range. Nice big stop run, and then we're going to end this day on a Friday right back in the middle of the bell curve, in the middle of here. Crazy, yeah? Do you see this bell curve right here, right back in the middle? We're probably going to end back at the POC. Crazy. Right, we're probably going to adjust this ever so slightly. Give me a second so you guys can see it a little bit better. Glue, tile it open. My brain's a bit fried for this time to be changing charts, but it's annoying me because you guys won't be able to see the market profile. Give me a second. Feel free to ask me more questions while I sort this. Call letters instead of background. There, it's there. We don't want that. There we go. See, you can see the bell curve a little bit easier. I literally had that in front of me, was staring at it. So the buyers are getting pretty aggressive. Look at the amount of delta that's come in here. We've just wiped off in the last 2 hours. We've just wiped off negative 20k delta for this. So that's exactly the point, right? And it's the size of contracts where they can drive price down, they get better fills, and then they just gradually start feathering into the bid to pick up those orders, right? They just start absorbing them. And they're not going to do it at exact swing points and swing at highs. You need to have a sort of a larger look at the market and see, like, right, where are we? So if we make this bigger, you need to first start off and have a look and sort of zoom out, right? So this is each profile is a day, okay? We have this consolidated into weeks. But look, this came right back down to the previous week's point of control. We discussed this in the stream the other day, that we're coming into these higher volume areas and we're now out of value on the monthly. and they go down and take these orders, and then they get to fill, and then they get to just buy it right back up. That's not saying that it's not going to go down the next day. We don't know that, but you're looking for the points of inflection as to where this is going to happen, right? So I'll look at questions now in case I've missed anything. So I actually took it out, formula. I took it out because it was expired and I just didn't grab the one. There's one in the about us section or bio of the channel. If you click on that, there's a link to the description. But there's a Discord group. The Discord is also free. I want us to build a group of like-minded traders. And if anyone wants to support the channel, there's a link in the description for that. If you want to support the channel, become a supporter, and you can do that in the link in the description. I'll put it here in case anyone is feeling in a supportive mood. So here it's here. I'll pin it as well for you guys. But essentially, this is the only way I've got for supporting. Also, Sierra, for all of the chart books and stuff that I assist with and try and help people with, Sierra have discontinued all of their basically there's no affiliate links or anything because they don't do it. So I'm doing it really just for the greater good to try and help people. They don't charge for chart books or anything along those lines. I just want everyone to get a fair chance, to be honest. Everyone to have a fair chance, and if you feel you've had value brought to you and you find value in the streams and some of these nuggets that I've spent years spending time on, maybe assist your trading, and they sort of change your mindset and perspective on it, I'll ask is you maybe want to become a supporter. If you don't want to, no problem at all. No problem at all, dudes. But yeah, that's the way in the market with the VIX being this low. Um, you just don't see the 20-30 tick runs a lot without it doing that. Because we've just taken those orders and then it comes back down. You'd have thought they would at least went back into the range here and reclaimed. But now there's a possibility that we're just going to go back. There's just no follow through in really anything. Because even if you were shorting here, right? So say you sold here and you're like, oh yes, this is going, but it gives you this aggressive hit back, and then it sells off, right? Um, the reason, to be honest, Manny, is it's hard to trade and execute positions and chat and discuss. So I typically trade from 8:30 a.m. US for about 3 hours. So I typically trade to about lunchtime US, and that's me done. And then I come on in the evenings where we discuss if there's anything super, like if there's a golden opportunity, I'll take it. But to be honest with you, that was nothing special. Nothing really special. I mean, the sweep that we got, I can't remember exactly the price was, but the sweep that happened, you maybe got 5 or 6 ticks, and now we're back in the range. You know, especially at this time, we're going to have some volume coming in the next hour, but that's particularly why, buddy. Oh, you do? Nice, man. Nice, buddy. I had some treasuries up earlier, but everyone would be falling asleep, especially at the current. With I think the 10-year was in like a 3 tick range at POC for like an hour. So yeah, I find the 10-year a little bit easier. they've been more liquid. It's a little bit easier to get in and out, to be honest. Like if you're on the wrong side uh, of UB, it gets a little bit challenging. But it's a bit thicker at the moment, right? It's got some good liquidity at the bid and offer, you know, at the moment. So, but nice. Yes, Jack, buddy boy. I am from Scotland. Yes. Yeah, man. You tell them. I'm trying to offer value, to be honest. Yeah, you're pretty behind, bro. Yeah, yeah. I had it up, to be honest, and we were looking at it, man. But it's like watching paint dry, right? It's hard to stream and discuss when there's no action. That's the thing. Like, it's not the most exciting market to stream, to be honest. So that's why I normally we jump into indices for it to be a little bit more exciting, and we can discuss order flow. Need to clean these DOMs. It annoys the shit out of me when the DOMs are messy. That's actually do you know, as another thing, guys? I feel that I feel there's quite a number of YouTubers. I'm not saying any names. I feel there's a number of YouTubers that have the DOMs up because they think they look good, you know, and they have the recent bid volume and recent. Wow, NQ is just dumped. Let's see if I was. Oh, okay. And we want to see that take. We just saw a nice little slip there. NQ is wild. Um. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Oh, nice, Jack. That's well likes. So I can't remember what I was saying there. Sorry, I got distracted. So you personally compressed E-mini to show point by point. This gave me a longer time view. Yeah, so I like your style, Manny, to compress. I think it's probably more valuable on NQ. I have done it, especially with NQ. It's probably more valuable just simply because it's so illiquid. Well, illiquid is probably not the right term. It's just not very thick, and there is a spread there as well. So it tends to absorb prices probably over 1 to 2 points, whereas ES you're probably absorbing. You could sometimes when the book is much thicker, you're absorbing over a few ticks. It's probably doing it at the moment, maybe over a point tops on ES. And in the Russell and Dow, I don't really ever trade them. My personal opinion is they're not the best markets. The reason being is they're the same tick to commission size, or how do I say that? The same um, dollar amount per tick as NQ, but then they're just not as volatile. So you'll be there forever trading them unless you shift some size. So I use them for correlation with NQ and ES because in order for the market to move quickly and to go easy in your favor, you want there to be uh, some consistency across the board, right? And for there to be correlations. Like NQ right now, if it can hold above POC, okay, and it continually to lift into the offer with some size, we can see there's a bit of absorption here. See if we can hold above it, but it's just not. It's just rotating around the POC. So we've failed to reclaim the exact range, and now we're going down. But we just need to see what's happening. But then, as you see how NQ is lifting into the offer, we've held above it now with some size, and it brings up ES at the same time. Nice for you to drop by, Tonya. Hope you're well. I thought I'd pop in for the Friday close. See how everyone's week's been. Did you guys have a green week? I'm gonna So we're only really seeing buying coming in at the moment. They're essentially taking. Let's see if the bid can hold. They're trying to hold it with some size. 99 flashed, just been pulled. NQ is going to be the culprit that needs to go offered here. Oh yeah, just as well you're on the ball, Craigie boy. So yeah, so there's quite. I feel that if you watch some YouTubers and they start talking, you probably know what I'm talking about without saying this, and they have a depth of market up and they go on about supply and demand zones or whatever, and then they have the DOM up, right? And the DOM is got the whole day's volume at the bid and ask. It's got all of the recent bid volume and recent ask volume. No depth of market trader trades like that, man. I want to be able to refresh this and clean it so that I can see exactly what is happening at the price. Now refresh the delta and refresh the recent side. I even have a hotkey to do this, and then if everything gets out of whack, I then have a hotkey to then recenter. Because when you're in the zone with this and you're trading, you're absolutely glued to this. You need to see exactly what is happening, not like what all is going on. You need to have these fresh. So right now you can see 300 has been executed. The market is no longer bid until we take this back. Are they going to take this full amount? It's 50 here. They've not even taken. Let's see if they're going to take it. So they've just cleared that. And NQ is somewhat absorbing over these three ticks here. Are they going to continue going down? There's 300 now flashed. They're trying to engineer more liquidity here. They're aggressively trying to hold this level right now. That was just pulled. Do you see that? That was a gate. That is glorious right there. That is probably one of the perfect examples we've had, right? They just engineer liquidity to get people to come in and sell in there. Then when they went to basically lift into the offer, they pulled and then flashed in the bid. That would be. I bet you that's the same firm that's just done that. This is the exact type of games I was talking about. Because of these orders, sometimes you see it, they're flashing, but actually they're just doing it. It's just the spoofing, and they say that spoofing is meant to be legal. It's happening all the time. Let's see if this 400 actually gets traded. It's not been pulled yet, which is good. So, and it's just been pulled there. Unbelievable, honestly. Fucking hell, man. Crazy. No problem, Formula Buddy Boy. Nice of you to stop by. Let's see if they actually try and fill one of these orders. See that they're continuously flashing and pulling. Yeah, exactly. Because this is the thing. People are flashing there, and they're doing that because majority. This is the thing that people forget about. These guys are not doing this to spook out retail. They literally could not care about retail. They could not give a monkey's toss because they're doing that to try and spook out other market making firms and other algorithms. So right now this should be going, right? So someone is absorbing in this price. If this cracks with some size, this should be going. So they absorbed 320 on the bid, still absorbing here. So they're holding this price. NQ is still trying to go lower. And typically when you see iceberg orders like that, when they do eventually crack, the market will sweep. But they do that flashing and stuff to try and trick out other firms. And you may be thinking, well, why? Why would they do that? Because these firms are basically they're pulling, stacking all day long and trying to get out in the bid and offer. And if they flash that and other companies get filled, right? and then they then get to hit into them, for example, they can then get filled in the orders, and then if they're caught on the wrong side of the trade, it's a domino effect. They need to get out, and then they'll get an extra 3-4 ticks, for example. You don't really need to know the reason why they're doing it, but it's just the types of games they get on. And when the market's not clean and the conditions are not conducive to what you think is going to happen, you don't trade. I mean, right now we've probably been in what, a 10-15 tick range now since I've really joined the stream. So Jack, I work in finance, right? Um, I've worked in finance for many years, and basically there's just no technology, to be honest. You know, you think the technology is good with these companies, they're really not. The harsh reality of it is the regulators and the exchanges are not going to bite off the hand that feeds them, right? Because they're a profit-making enterprise themselves, right? These guys are generating tons of commissions for them in probably their biggest size, and they keep the market in flow. And what I mean by that is they basically give them really, really cheap commissions, but they still generate them an absolute fortune. But they also have a job to basically keep the market in order so it doesn't go bananas one way or another, right? Or market making is what it's called, right? So NQ's going there. We're seeing this hitting in. Can it go? Can it go? It's trying. It's trying. See, just not. Up 3 and 4 ticks. Bullshit price action, honestly. So, but yeah, um, I think that they're not going to cut off the hand that feeds them, and the regulators just don't have. They're just so far behind these firms in terms of technology, right? Just so far behind. And these guys are trading thousands and thousands of contracts. I mean, have you ever checked the total amount of volume that's been executed on ES? There's no danger that they're going to be checking that on a day-to-day basis. It's not going to happen. There's so many orders pulled, and then how do you prove that? You just said, oh shit, sorry, it was a fat finger. You know what I mean? But I can guarantee you that if the CME found out, for example, that one of the largest commission generators was doing something a bit on the grey, you know, you're there's just not going to be that much course of action because it hurts them too much financially. Yeah, exactly. They're trading in the millions per day, so there's just I highly doubt that individual brokers and the CME have got risk monitoring tools to check spoofing. Just no chance. No chance, man. And even if they did, right, it's not like they're then gonna pull up these large firms anyway. They just did that as an example for that dude it was retail because he absolutely ripped a hole out of it. You know, I don't know if you've seen that thing with that dude from London that basically was spoofing massively. They just set an example for him. But if you're doing it at key levels, you're not doing it very much, and you're a massive generator of size in the market. So say you've traded, I don't know, 100,000 contracts that day, right? And you've maybe spoofed like 5 to 10k. I'm just using this as an example. The numbers are arbitrary, but who cares? No one's even going to flag that. Do you know what I mean? But the spoofing of that and them showing it allowed them to basically bump the market up that more to then start flipping their bids to offers or offers to bids. Yeah, the guy from Hounslow, exactly. Nav, yeah, yeah, exactly. So he was basically a dom trader you know, and just create an algorithm that started flashing and spoofing orders. That was pretty much all he was doing. And the reason why they do this is because it creates a cascade of things. Because other market making firms, just so you guys are aware, it actually would be easier to discuss this in slow motion, but these guys, if they see that there's continual reloading in the bid, they'll get in with one lot, right? Because they know the size behind them, right? And then if it goes ticks against them, they get out for break even, and they pay like 2 cents for that, right? But their objective is to get out in the bid when the size behind them, then to get out, sorry, to get filled in the bid and then get out in the ask, right? So the market will go bids like this to get filled out in the ask. That's what they're doing all day, every day, these firms, right, with HFTs. Now, what these large firms can do, and they know this, that they're trying to mess up with the algorithms, is they can go in here and flash 400, which will start meaning that they'll refreshing here, and then they'll hit into the bid, right, to hit those offers, and then they'll pull that order. Ah, shit. Sorry, guys. I need to sort out this mic. It keeps on going on mute for some reason. Where did I get up to there? Because I was saying that effectively when you're. Did I tell you guys it was about the pit? Did you hear up to there? If you can let me know. Because essentially, if you let me know which part I got up to before it cut off, and I'll continue on because I think it was pretty important. God, I bet you I was talking for minutes. I bet you I was talking for minutes and you guys didn't hear it. Oh, last thing you got about spoofing. Oh gosh. It's been a few minutes. Oh no. Potatoing. Okay, so what I was saying, right, is it's hard for people to visualize this because it's electronic trading. But put yourself in the shoes of the pit, right, where these people are not sophisticated and they're literally standing in a big massive circle shouting buy them, sell them, doing hand signals, right? And you know who's a big trader. It's not a machine. You physically can, the dude that works for JP Morgan that is there to execute size, right? So when he comes in and he starts, unloading size and he's saying, I'll buy him, you can literally hear that. You can physically see the dude doing that, right? You're not going to start selling, are you? If you know that the guy that can shift size is aggressively buying, you're just not going to do that, are you? Unless you don't like money. You know what I mean? So life was easier back then because these dudes were not geniuses, okay? Um, and it's completely different. So say for example what I was saying before it was cutting off, it's actually happening right now. So say they were in the pit, right, and it's coming up to this high, okay, that you can see. Now they would say to themselves, right, it's probably going to cost us maybe 500 contracts to ping it above this high, right? But then in the process of doing that, when I smash it above these highs, the people that were selling, they're going to be stopped out. They need to buy, so then there's going to be a flush, and then there's going to be breakout traders that come out and they're going to buy, and then there's going to be everyone else that then buys as well. And then what typically then happens is those dudes that pinged it for the 500 contracts as an example, right? They then flip. So what they do is they then say, okay, this has went enough. I'm now up 15 ticks. I need to get out. So they start getting out, right? They start flipping to the offer. They hold the market with the large orders, right? And then they'll start feathering into the bid. And then before you know it, the people that were bought, they need to liquidate, okay? More sellers now come in because they've got a tight stop they can have. And then before you know it, you're back in the range. That's just how it works. All breakouts happen from a large firm or institution or individual trader who's got enough size to sling to cause that domino effect. Not because the market is in some sort of weird spooky trend and it broke a trend line or something. That's just not how it works. Life is not as simple as that, sadly. I can't believe I was not talking for 3 minutes. Oh God. So apologies about that. I'll need to sort this mic. I'll do it for the next stream because it's cheating me off. But does that make sense? That's pretty much how it works. They do that in micro ranges. They do it at key inflection points, and they'll do that with size, and then it causes that domino effect, right? And nowadays they have to be more creative about it because it's not people. You could physically see it in their face when they're in pain. If they were short and you just come in and bought 500, right, and swept above the high where they know they need to get out, they're in a flurry to cover, and get out. And then other people are wanting to then buy as well. You know what I mean? That's just how it works. Okay, so what what I mean by that, right, is so if we look at this chart right up here, so let's draw this line. Okay, let's draw this line. So this is where the high. Okay, so everyone that was selling here, right? For example, the markets went up, it's then went down. People thought, okay, this is going to go and I don't know, dump it, right? So they would sell, and their obvious stop is going to be above here. Okay, so when price gets up here, a large firm knows this because they have the data to see how many contracts have been sold here, and where likely is their stops going to be. It's going to be up here, right? So when price gets to this level, okay, they can then assume to themselves, right, if I bang this through this level, if I basically buy enough contracts to hit into this price, into the offers, take out the remaining offers, okay, this will then mean that the people that were selling here need to get out. And in order, when you're selling to get out, you need to become a buyer. So you need to buy to get out that pushes price up more. Okay? And the part that I was referring to, where, let me just explain the terminology. So when they're holding price and feathering into the bid, is it'll get to say here, they're actually doing this right now. Okay? And it happens all the time. So they drive price up to this level, okay, and then they'll start flashing orders, okay. Now they don't flash orders all the time, but what they do is they'll just start absorbing those orders, okay, and they don't allow price to go up. They'll maybe do it over 3 or 4 ticks, and then they'll start. And what I mean by feathering into the bid is they'll start selling some, so it ticks down a few like this, it goes up, they absorb more, then they hit some into the bid, it ticks up, they absorb more, then they'll start hitting into it, and then when they want, they can start dumping hard into the bid, right? And then again, there'll be the same setup. The people that bought the breakout and people that are buying, once it goes back into the range, they then need to liquidate. And this is why when price always comes back down to the POC, you always see chop, because it's them getting out of their positions, as an example. Right? Does that make sense? So they start absorbing some and then hitting. So like right now you're seeing it, you know? You want to see if they're going to be pulling these bids or not. Yeah, Jigsaw doesn't have MBO data. Does that make sense, Professor? Is that an okay explanation, buddy? Um, I mean, basically, hitting into the bid is just a terminology for selling, and lifting into the offer is a terminology for buying, because this is what's offered, this is what's bid, resting, and you're lifting. The reason why it's lifting is because it's going up. You're lifting into the offer, and then you are hitting into the bid. Just the terminology I've always used, which is pretty frequent amongst people that trade the DOM. Exactly. Well, they don't really even need to use leverage, mate, because these guys have got that much money. So, they have the size to move the market, right? So they don't really need to use leverage, but they can stop the market on a dime. They can right now. So like right now they've just flashed 500. Okay, they've just absorbed 200 contracts here, 269. Okay, do you see they're just refreshing here? So there's now 300. It's then ticked up, and then they've then taken more. They hit into the bid. It went down. So right now there is someone that's absorbing here in the offer. So if they get taken out here, let's see if they're done. You'll see NQ is also going up. So we see, so they continually, someone has absorbed up 800 contracts in this price. So this is the first sign of what they're doing, as an example. Because they can hold the price, because they have that much size. And what you need to see is you need to see them start hitting, and by hitting into the bid, they need to start getting aggressive, because if they just absorb all day, the market's still going to go up. They've not got that much money. They need to start, rather than absorbing, they need to start hitting into the bid and taking price down, and they're not doing that right now, which is seen by the delta, right? The delta is just completely bid. There is no aggressive selling coming in. and that's the difference, right? Is if there, in order for the market to move, you need to have market orders, right? Letters, hello, buddy. Samar, good to see you. Nice of you to join us. But you're spot on, Professor. That's pretty much the script, right? These guys have the liquidity and the money, to be holding price. You know, these guys in one price there have just absorbed 728 contracts. We probably trade, that in a month if we're lucky. If you're an active trader. But they see that's the difference is the fact that you're seeing absorption, which is fine, but they need to start the terminology I was saying, feathering into the bid and hitting into it with some size. Because if they don't, and buyers are on a train, right, it's going to continually take the next price because they can't hold it forever, right? And the 29 you're watching ES and SPIs, and there was a rock solid seller and buyer keeping the price pinned all day, just pinging back and forth. How can we introduce the next day's movement? So in my opinion, if you have like a couple of days where the market is just in complete balance, let me see if I can bring this up in the profile because this is actually relevant. Right, when was it here? Was it? Now I've not. This is regular trading hours, right? So the market was in, we'll call it this sort of range here, okay? And the longer that the market is in this range, this is a monthly POC, and we had this low traded volume area here. When the market is in like a range for this, we'll get a rectangle out. In fact, let me get rid of these ones just so it's not confusing for people. Okay, so when you've got the market in like a range sort of, we'll just do it as an example, right? We've just been in balance here for days, okay? The market sweep to high, back in, balanced out in here. We then balanced here, we balanced here, we balanced here. We swept to low and finished the day right at back in balance. Now, the reason why this gap is here is because I exclude the pre-market session apart from the current day. So in that day, we then broke the low, and this is where we sold off, right? And typically, when you're in a range for this length of time, when it does break out of that range, you're then going to see some continuation because the more that a market consolidates in the range, the longer it does. When it does break, you're then going to see basically a bigger movement out of that range because there's been enough trading, the market's accepted that price, it's in discovery mode, right? And that's typically some of the things that I look for and take into consideration. But right now we are just on an absolute tear. There is just not a seller in sight right now. Let's see how it reacts when we get up to here. Look at all these orders. So this here can hold price. I want to see what happens when we get to this level. Let's clear the DOM. Just for a point of reference, it'll be great. The Dow is just continually pressing the highs. So let's see, this could be an example here as to just how they're going to hold the market, and let's see what happens when price does get here. I don't think Jigsaw has MBO. I don't think they believe in it, to be honest. Right, let's see how it reacts to this order. If we're going to take it or they're going to be pulled. So it stopped. Let's see the amount of size it's going to trade. It's pinged off it. Okay, look at the bid being pulled. Interesting. And the size coming in. Let's see if they're going to break that level. I have it adjusted so that my DOMs are smaller to take up less screen space. They're aggressively flashing orders here, so you take a lot of size to try and break this. We'll see. So when they start planting these orders, this is the first thing you're trying to see, right? And how would you know that? You're never going to know that in a chart without looking at the depth of market. No chance. So now you need to think to yourself, okay, right, we need to see sellers start coming in a little bit more now, okay? So we can see here, and if you have some correlations in the market, it's also a little bit concerning for fading when the Dow is just cracking the highs. There's not a sell in sight in the Dow at the minute. Even flashing here on NQ, let's see if they take the full 20. Let's quickly clear and see if they take it. They do. Okay, so they're still absorbed there. Interesting, it's at the same levels. Let's see how the ES reacts from this. It's just struggling to break, so we've now hit that twice and it's then failed to break. If this bid gets pulled, right? So two things here. If the bid gets pulled, so these guys start getting weak and the sellers start hitting aggressively like so, there we go. This is gonna go. And it all started from these dudes up here. These guys said, nah 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 nah, you're not moving this market anymore, and the market's just dropped 6 or 7 ticks. Like seriously man, 6 or 7 ticks doesn't sound a lot, but see if you were trading size, 6 or 7 ticks would be get the pom-poms out day, call your mum, call your spouse, get the pom-poms out, we're going for a steak dinner. Do you know what I mean? That's how easy it is these guys can do it, and they're making that much money doing it. Because they have the size to move the market. It's different life. So we want to see if they start getting aggressive down here, this should potentially go down some more. But they're going to struggle to break this. So we will get... we'll draw this and mark it so that we can clean. Let's see if they can crack it if NQ goes down some more as well. Dow is pulled down a little bit. We're struggling to crack here. Yeah, you need to get access to it, man. 100%, buddy. It's good that you guys can see this in action, because this is the exact type of things I look for when I'm looking to enter my positions. Right, here we go, it's cracked. So there we go, if we get hits it, there we go. There we go. That's it. If you initiated that from this price and your stop was above here, that's your trade done. Do you know what I mean? That's it, it's gone. And now do you see that? They've now flipped. So they've now flipped, and the seller's going to take this and continue on. If this goes, this will go more. But you see the 100 lot flashed and filled. So they've held this one price now. Right, are they now going to take this back in the range? If they do crack this with some size, this is going to go down more. So do you see what I mean by they're flipping? It's what they do. They can say, I need to get out of the market now. So if they get out, then they can actually flip. They can flip onto the bid and start doing it there. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but they can. And that level cracks, we should see some more downside. And the bid has also been pulled. There's now not a buyer in sight here. The amount of negative delta that's come in. If the bid becomes pulled, this is going to drop aggressively. But we're seeing here someone absorbing. There we go. Wow. Okay. Okay, that's more like it. And now the 300 lot's shown. And see, after a move like that, guys, when you've got 15, 20 ticks, you need to get out. There is no danger market making firms are going to just allow the market to go down more. They're just never going to do that. And notice the dude that stopped this in a dime is probably the same firm that we're doing this up here. And I'm not even joking. So how to get MBO data? You need to be using either the Denali with Sierra, or you need to use Rhythmic. And you need to have the full package with Sierra. I would probably say Sierra is your best bet for MBO data, to be honest. I don't think even Jigsaw does it. I know Bookmap does, but I'm not a big fan of Bookmap, if I'm honest. So let's see how the how the market reacts to this 300, if it's going to be pulled or not. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I missed it there. Was that 300 pulled? I looked away for a second. Wow, look at the. Was that the same level? Did you guys catch that? Because if that was the 300 there, it's just stopped in a dime. And this is basically why the MBO data is important, to be honest with you. Just gives you an insight into where the market may stop, and what prices are actually got real size sitting on them. Because all of the prices you're seeing in between that, it could just be algorithms, it just be market makers, putting quotes on every bid and every offer. It doesn't necessarily mean that's going to trade. And that could have been there getting filled at 50 and then hitting and lifting the offer, and then it ticks up 3 ticks. If they can crack here and take out this next level, let's see if they can do that. But you notice how all we're doing here is just going in between the range, right? These guys are doing this all day. That's how they make their money. If you guys want to go to Sierra, there's a link in the description. I don't make any Benjis from it. I wish I did, to be honest, because I want to assist people in doing that, and it would be nice to get some form of kickback, but I actually don't get anything. They've stopped their full referral program. But I can give you all these charts. If you want to go to Sierra, I'll give you these for free. The only thing I ask is, you maybe decide to join the coffee or something, just as a thank you. But I'll give you these because it took me. You can watch them on YouTube as well. I've got how to build all of these and how to configure everything, and what the best DOM settings are, and how to make sure you've got the correct refresh rate, and all the key stuff that you need, man. But if you can't be bored watching all of that, I can send these. I can send this exact deck to you, and you can tweak it how you like. But you need to either have level 2 with Rhythmic, or you need to have Denali with Sierra, and you need to have an actual account with like AMP, or with AMP, Edge Clear, Stage 5, you know, one of them. That's how you need to operate it, right? So we'll see how the market reacts if it does go up here. But you see, it's hard, man. Is trading, like, you really need to be in the zone. This is the thing. You know, like, you need to pick 2 or 3 hours a day, and you need to absolutely stare at these DOMs and know the levels that you're looking to do business, and look to see the behavior that you're looking for at those key levels. Because see, like, I say this every day, guys, but the majority of stuff that you see in charts is just not tradable. You need to wait till you see behavior of the big dudes that is ultimately letting you know their hand. It's like poker. They're basically raising aggressively, saying I've got a good hand. And at the times when they're potentially raising aggressively, they're bluffing, and they're doing that when they flash and pull. Same concept. You just need to be aware of that. But I can guarantee you, man, that 90% of general retail doesn't even know what a depth of market is. Or you go to YouTubers that just have it up there because they think it looks pretty. You know. The link, I think it's just a 2 week free trial, Craig. You don't need to pay anything to trial it. Sierra's that. How do I call it? They're not exactly, the software is dynamite, but they're not exactly, the website's not the most advanced, so you don't need to put any card details or anything in. So what I'd advise you to do is download the software, check it all out, and then once you're done, you can get a free month of package 12. But then you need to make sure that you've got the data. You need Denali data feed. And Denali data feed is great for two things. So I use Denali data feed to trade my personal accounts. I also use Denali data feed to trade prop because I use RTrader if I'm using trading prop, which just means I I route the orders through RTrader, but I use Denali, and I have two instances of Sierra. I do that. I copy my prop accounts, and I have another instance I execute on my personal accounts as well, and that's through Edge Clear and Ironbeam, through the Teton routing side of things. But all routes, all the data is provided by Denali. And if I'm honest with you guys, I have not had one outage. You know, not had one outage. And I'm saying this, and I make absolutely zero Benjis from Terra. With no affiliate links, nothing. It's just a really good platform. I can't think of any other. I actually work in technology, right? And I can't think of any other platform I've ever used that's never had an outage like Sierra. There's just if it's had an outage, I've never seen it, and I've used it for years. They maybe have like certain bugs in the releases and stuff, but the data in DOMs is always spot on. So I use both Apex and Top Step. Yeah, the free trial is a limited version. Yeah, it's been that long since I've had the free trial. I can't even remember what you do. It basically just allows you to open the charts. You can't really do much without data. It's all delayed, but you can see it. You can mess around with it. I use Apex and Top Step. Um, as you know, you know, I would say I value the prop firms. I don't tout any prop firms. I think they're all just take as much money from them as you can, um, and funnel it into your personal accounts because they're not there to help you. They try and make it out that they're there to help you. They don't really care, to be honest. You know, the reason being is there is no incentive with really any of them for you to go live apart from pay, paying higher data fees. Do you know what I mean? You pay higher data fees and they take a slice of your money, um, and the commission they give you a supposedly better commission. They don't do anything at all. I don't want to go on a rant about prop firms, to be honest with you, but they're there as a tool, make money out of them, and then leave them because some of the top ones, I don't think they're going to be there forever. There'll come a time when the money tree dries up because yeah, I'm not going to rant, to be honest about it. uh, oh, okay, man. So effectively, the prop firms are good. They really put hoops in the way for you. I mean, you need to really get like multiple hoops and start jumping. So I would go with the prop firm that has the easiest withdrawals, to be honest, and take your time, and then just make sure that the withdrawals are simple. That you don't need to like. I mean, Apex, the amount of bad PR they've had, and the trouble is you've got these big streamers just pushing Apex, all the time when they're I don't know. I don't think they'll be there for that long. I think the fact that they don't have anyone trading live, they only make money from um, people losing. Which if I'm completely honest with you, it's not far off what Bernie Madoff was doing. To be honest with you, take money from some people to pay out the good ones. Do you know what I mean? It's not far off. I'll say no more. But just be careful with these things. Um, don't. And this is another word of warning, man. If you fail them, don't throw your strategy out the window like a knob. You know, Don't get down on yourself because, oh, I failed one of these challenges, I must be rubbish or whatever. Man, these dudes make these challenges so that you fail. Like, that's what they're doing. They make it so that you have to close by a certain time. You can't have a certain amount of positions open. Um, they just make it difficult on you. Do you know what I mean? So, you effectively need to more than double your account. In order to pass. Like, that's not an easy feat. Well, the thing is as well, Jack, right? Is see even the ones that are like the profitable traders, it's like they don't want profitable traders. And the reason being, even some of the good ones, right? Some of the longer lasting firms, right? They don't really incentivize you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been trading for years, and I've never found a firm that is popularly like, right, how can we help you? You know, if you're a really good trader, we're making 20% on your month. We'll cover your exchange fees. You know, we'll cover your fees. We'll look after you. Let's properly dive into your trading. Can we automate things? Like, let's properly develop a strategy and benefit each other, and they actually give you money. A lot of these firms, man, are like, all right, because you've made too much money and we need to cap a risk, we'll put you in live where you need to pay higher fees. We'll cut your commissions by like 50 cents a round turn, which is garbage, and then we'll take a slice of the pie. But they're not actually putting up any money. Do you know what I mean? They're just taking the money from your like funded accounts and putting it into live environment. How is why would anyone do that versus just saying, right, I'll just put that on my own account then? Do you know what I mean? I don't understand unless someone can enlighten me and it has traded live environment with these firms. What the point is, you know? What the point is entirely. Yeah, NQ and ES are absolutely ripping. Wow. I was too busy talking. Right, so let's get the trusty rectangle out. Let's see if we can get to this area, and let's see if we have another glorious sweep at the overnight high. Are we going to get there? And it's also at the fourth standard deviation VWAP band. Yeah, man. I mean, let's not even talk about like how Apex do stuff with you. They're releasing so many weird rules. You have to basically, eat a banana, do it 10 times, 10 times, request at a different time, only make X amount percentage of your total returns for that specific withdrawal. Now you can't average into position. Well, I mean, what else are they gonna do? You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just so far away from live market conditions. It's ridiculous. You know, honestly. They're not even in the slightest there to remotely help traders. It's a joke. And they've basically soaked up the retail space because anyone, I've been trading for years and I even trade with these guys because it's basically free money. If you get an account and you rinse them, you just take it out and put it in your account. And once it gets to size, but the problem is you've got these big streamers that are there trading these accounts. I wouldn't even be surprised, man. If you've ever seen how dodge the stake is and all these gambling websites are where they're giving people free money, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not want to call any conspiracies or anything here, but I wouldn't be surprised if everything you see with these big streamers and stuff is not really legit. Look at NQ. Wow. What is going on here? Someone is just planting here. Holy smokes. Right. I've not seen this in a while. Let me clear this. This is noteworthy. They have just went 100, 100, 100, 100. Right, let's see if are they gonna fill all of that. This is them trying to get out. They want to get out of their positions, man. Just because they're on such a big bid, there's no danger they're looking to short here. They'd want to get out up here. Agree. Top 10 need to incentivize their live traders to stay more. Apart from the risk manager being a third party, if something you struggle with on your own. I mean, Jack, to be honest with you, the risk management, dude, you know, it's 2024, man. I can set hard stops in our trader. I can set them on Sierra. I can phone my broker. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to have some guy on the phone and phone me and say, "How's it going today, Mr. Orderflow? I can see you're doing your arson. I can see you're nearly at your max stop. Thanks, John. Thanks for that information, mate. I know I'm doing my arson. Thank you." Do you know what I mean? I don't need someone to tell me that. I'm already aware. It's not like I'm not checking my P&L every day. Do you know what I mean? Can, honestly, what a cop out that is for them. Oh god, I'm in the rampage here. Rant mode. Right, let's clear this. I want to see if these orders are going to be filled. That's crazy how much they're just planting these, right? Not seen that in a while. They're just stacked on every price. Yeah, Apex is terrible. Apex is a turn off from reading their payout rules. Seems way too convoluted. You're right. No problem, buddy. No problem. Let's see what's happening. We've got all the volume coming in the next probably 50 minutes. We're going to see some real size, but all this volume is probably going to be taken out. We'll sweep the high and probably reverse back. So let's see what they're going to do in the next 50 minutes because the market can reverse a lot. '72s. Professor, I sometimes look at the VIX expiration for options and stuff. I wouldn't say I check it on a day-to-day basis. Not really, no. I think sometimes more information is not always the best, right? But what I do is look at this candle. Right, we're just taking out all these orders. Do you ever look at options, data, etc. and inform your trades at market range stage, the vol surface? I mean, I check the VIX a lot, man, but I don't really. Wow. Look at the injection in there. We've got 15 minutes of this, so let's check the sweep of the high, right? Let's see now if we're going to sweep. I suspect we're going to sweep back down now. So all of the stops will be taken. Let's see how far they're going to drill it. Okay, let's see if they can break this here. It's 400s. It's ticked off it. Wow. Some amount of size going on here. I'd be surprised if we don't go back in, if we don't sweep here. Wow. I don't know why I didn't take that, to be honest. Seriously. That's probably the best trade all day. Seriously, what a trade, man. Too busy faffing around. Seriously, what a trade. Just that honestly, guys, when you see that there coming up and all the absorption at the highs after that huge run up, that is as close you're getting to is a success in trading. That exact trade. I can't believe I didn't take that. Uh, but to be honest with you, I don't really ever trade. Trading at 10 to 9 in a or 10 to 4 in a Friday is never really good, but that was a great setup. If you can mirror that setup into your trading, it's very good. Exactly there. And you're taking like 15 ticks, 20 ticks, glorious stuff. To be honest with you, I tend to not really have a bias as such, you know. And this is exactly why I only don't really ever hold trades. I like to try and get out for 15, 20 ticks if I can. But look at all of this buying. Wow. Just so you guys are aware, in the next 10 minutes, this could reverse. This could reverse all the way back down here with the amount of volume that's going to come in. If this buying stops and these guys stop on a dime, we can reverse probably somewhere back into the range for today. M period is always wild. We've now just cracked the previous day high. So when is the gone point for them ending a spike? But it doesn't really look like they're stopping right now, does it? They are just aggressively taking their. Whoa. Gee, this is some volume in here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, I want to see us go back in this range if we can. Watch the volume it's going to come in the next 6 minutes, guys. It's going to be intense. Look at the amount of these orders. Wow. I want to see if they can do it. Not that I would take this trade now anymore. Looks like this went to a nice pink line of resistance. Great. Good to see that still working. Okay, we are seeing some selling come in now. Look at the amount of size that they're putting on the offer here. Wow. Look at NQ. Jeez, oh what a day. Yeah, exactly. End of month, a lot of the time it can be big institutions. The biggest theory that I have with it is end of month you're having big institutions entering new positions. They'll have certain budgets they'll need to fire away, especially when you're getting the end of quarter as well. And they'll need to close out or enter positions. They could have been exiting their short positions. You don't really know. All you know is it's one-way traffic right now. So there's more buying delta coming. You can see that they are still just feathering in. You know, they're just continually taking the prices, but the offer seems to be happy to take it, right? But then they're not letting it drop, they're just continually refreshing. See that? Wow, this is extremely bullish behavior. You know, they're not even letting it, they're just continually reloading, reload. And then they pulled there, but this is madness. See, when the market's like this, I don't even want to be involved because where is the where you know we've got no chance in these market conditions, no chance. The only trade was the first hit, you know. And see, in my opinion, when the market is up the first time and gives you that absorption, you take it and then you get out for 15, 20, then you sit in the sidelines. That's pretty much it. But this is never good for selling until these guys stop this. Just you know, sellers are hitting into the bids, and buyers are just like, give me it all, please, gimme, 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 every price. Oh, we want to see what's going to happen in the next 3 minutes if we're going to liquidate, because they've still got the crazy algo hour coming in. Purple line. So this is an algorithm. We'll need to do a segment in this at some point. It's a paid indicator that I have that basically plots support and resistance lines depending on forecasting levels. It's to do with Fibonacci, pivots, volume, and standard deviations. That is essentially plotting these lines. So they tend to work. If they do crack and they crack above it enough, they then print new levels. It's pretty much the case. But as I was saying, until the bid starts to be pulled, you know, but in the next 2 minutes, I'm not joking, this could end back in this range. It's how crazy the stock market is. And if you guys are new to the stream, you've maybe not clocked the volume that comes in for the 15 minutes between 10 to 4 and 5 past 4. It's wild. So the purple line mark is essentially just it just gives the support and resistance levels that are likely to happen. I'm saying they work all the time, but they act as initial levels for you to check in the chart. You never trade them on their own. You need to have them in confluence. We're now at the POC of Wednesday. Okay, so we have another minute where this could dump hard. See if they need to crack this 85 and 3/4 level. See if they can take it. Gee, look at the 1,000 contracts. Wow. My gosh. This is insane. Are we missing something? Is something happened? Guys, can you guys check the calendar, check the news? Are we missing something, or like I know the sweeps and stuff have happened, but this is wild. You guys just might as well just get the popcorn out. Sometimes I stream the AM session, Manny, not too often because I find it hard to do what I do on stream and trade because if I'm honest with you, when I'm trading, I don't tend to speak. Like, I'm really laser focused, and I find it hard to multitask. If I'm honest with you, I'm not superhuman. So I tend to trade the PM session because I'm done my trading. I run over the trades at the start of the stream. I need to actually completely run over them in more depth moving forward. Um, and then I typically just watch the flow and we discuss it. And if any great trades show up, I maybe take them. But this is wild. there's just no. I mean, buyers are just aggressively continuing. I mean, how many ticks is this in this? So let me see. Where did it start? Wow. 260 ticks in 30 minutes. Jeez. Yeah, exactly. I need complete silence, and that's how I don't understand how, like, seriously, streamers come on and stream and take trades and stuff. I just don't. I just think they close their eyes and say I'm testing a wick I'm going to buy. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they're, you know, I'm actually here to make money from trading. I'm not here to pump affiliate links. So I need to make sure that I need to make sure that I make money trading. So I would like to do that in my own time. It's hard. It's really hard to concentrate. Trading. I find trading's hard. People make it sound easy, but it's not. It's taken me years, man. I've been doing this shit for 9 years. So what would be wild here if this still ends in here? It would be the biggest stop run in history. Honestly. Oh, that's wild. Oh my goodness. Crazy. Yeah, it could be something. I mean, to be fair, I know there doesn't need to be news to move the market and stuff. It just be large orders. But that, guys, that's wild, right? You don't. That's wild. Normally, there's something that's happened to cause that flurry, and the main thing is it wasn't just the fact that buyers were buying. There's a guy that shifted 1,000 contracts and then slung it at the highs, and then it was lifting into the offer, and then they were continually refreshing the bid, like more and more and more. It was dropping, then they would bid it up again. You don't normally see that. It's not so. That's not been so one-sided like that in months, if I'm honest with you. Like that run like that is not. Let me check. I'm going to see if there's anything on Financial Juice to see if there's any like headlines or whatever. Um, Let me just quickly check. I'm going to go into Financial Juice and see. Also add the coffee up there if anyone wants to join it. I don't have many supporters, as you can see. We've made a total of 97 buckaroos to help the channel. So it's not exactly like I can retire tomorrow, guys. So if you can help me with that, that would be great. So I don't really see anything. Let's see indexes. Is anything happens? No. There's been a bit of market on close, but fund managers raise the position by 31 contracts. Speculators increase the equity fund. Speculators increase S&P net short. Speculators raise bond futures. Yeah. Nothing really exciting, to be honest. Nothing to justify that. There's Avi. I need to give a shout out to the dudes for it. I think we have Dean, Avi, Sean, Alex. Let me know if I've missed anyone. If you guys would like to join, that would be great. Become part of the coffee gang. Help me out. So hopefully, if you get some value, you can choose the amount. Buy me a Starbucks or a beer. I should probably change that to beer since I stay in Scotland. I mean, I drink a lot of coffee to be fair, but I love beer. So, Start Ramen is my favourite beer. Start Ramen, ice cold glass. It's the way to go. But thanks to everyone that's supported. Much obliged. Right, so we're now past the crazy times. I kind of want to see where we finish here, to be honest, because this is really out of whack. If you guys have not joined the Discord, feel free to join. There's a link in the bio of the channel. Not really. Not really. I like beer. I like beer, buddy boy. Beer and coffee. I'm already, to be honest, the amount of coffee I drink, I don't really need any other substances, man. I'm wired enough, as you can tell. I'm getting wired at my brain here talking to a screen. uh, but guys, we're probably going to end it soon. I'll be chilling in the Discord this evening. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask them. If you need any chart books, let me know. If you want to join the coffee, make sure. Hopefully, you guys would consider that, and let me know what's happening. We'll be live on Monday, and I'll probably put out some videos over the weekend. I need to work on some more DOM updates and some other configuration stuff we'll do for Sierra, and we'll maybe work on some trade examples too. We'll put out a couple of videos over the weekend as well. 10 coffees a day, yeah, mate. I've got an espresso Carista Pro, uh, extremely good piece of kit. Like expensive, got it as a gift, but my goodness, what a piece of kit that is. It's like a perfect coffee every day with pods and stuff, and you can choose, if you want a lungo, an espresso, the usual stuff, right? But it's just really good quality, man. Really good quality. I probably go through at least 5, 6 espressos a day, sometimes more. I kind of want to see where we finish here. There's no way we've not got enough volume now, surely, to close back in the range. It's not possible. I think we're just going to chop around here. But I think we'll potentially call it there. Bros and broettes. We may call it there. Does anyone get any questions before we do? But anyways, guys, I hope you have a fantastic evening. I'll be chilling in Discord, so feel free to ask any questions. And I'll see you guys on Monday for the stream for the evening session. Take care, guys. Peace.